countries by doing that, because you're the first to hit, and then eventually what it led to is a lot of other people reacted to it, which is a good thing. I mean, somebody has to take the risk, right? So these are some of the things you can see, but how do we learn from those? And that's what I'm going to focus on today. I mean, where do you perceive an incident versus where do you consider a breach? I mean, if you all believe you're not breached, I think we're living in a world of illusionary. I mean, it's a world of illusion, right? And false sense of security. We're already breached. We already have an incident. The only thing is you're not being really exposed. And the other thing is you're happy that nobody discovered your data elsewhere. That's about it. Now, how do you make sure before somebody discovers it that you actually know that the data is leaving your network? And those are some of the things, I mean, I'll focus. I'm not going to put Target under the bus, but I have a case study on what went wrong in Target to show you a complete fractured, layered security approach, right? I mean, we keep talking about prescribing, you have to have layered security. We keep talking about you need to have these 10 technologies. And every single thing comes with its own bag of limitations. But the problem is these tools not talking to each other and then not being on a single pane makes this fracture really worse, makes it a trauma. And those are the kind of things I'm just going to focus quickly a little bit. And I won't spend too much time because I'll talk about where I come from. So I'm actually with New Mexico Tech, ICASA, and we had a New Mexico connection already here from Santa Fe Institute. So ICASA stands for Institute for Complex 32 Systems Analysis. We were formed under the guidance of the President Clinton's initiative to study national critical information systems, power grids, water pipelines, oil and natural gas. So we have a lot of ties with Calgary because at New Mexico Tech we do a lot of work on oil and natural gas. So that's really who we are. I mean, really trying to work on critical interdependent infrastructure. That's on behalf of the university. Today, what we do is red teaming exercises. We pretty much do engagements every other week. On an average, we do about 150, 200 red teaming exercises. State, local, federal entities, large casinos, large hospitals, large utility companies, and all that stuff. And we have pretty much, I can claim we have a 100% success rate in trying to be privileged users. And I'll show you some good examples here. We use non-traditional computing devices. The first thing when I walked into this room, I was looking at these projectors. And one thing I noticed was they were actually connected to the internet. And I can also tell if they're part of the domain, they actually run drivers that are privileged. And I can use that to pass the hash and become a domain administrator in this entire building. It's a very straightforward attack. So what does it mean? When I'm walking into the room, I'm thinking like an adversary. If you're in security business and if you're not looking for that stuff, you're not practicing the right security. I mean, again, no offense to anybody. That's the first thing I looked at. Okay, are these projectors connected? And I looked at quickly about 3 of them. So that's where they're already interconnected. There's already a server they're talking to. They already have privileged drivers. So that's really what we have done. How can we take non-traditional services and see how you can exploit yourself to break into the network? And we were one of the first teams to write an RFID malware. I mean, I was at my cousin's place. He gave me a little dongle. I laughed. What is this for? He said to come in and go out. It's a nice apartment. And oh, great. I mean, I can clone this in 2 minutes. Forget about cloning that. Now I can inject malware into the BMS, building management system. So it's not only your security, it's your sensors,